You can't hear us. Saying that they can't hear you. No Omni. Oh, Natalie, could you please sound off? I can't hear you at all. New problem. All the time, folks. It's gonna happen. Okay. Oh, well, we can't hear Natalie yet. If we can't hear her, then that's not gonna hear her. That is not ideal. Let's see. What? Okay, well. Okay, can y'all hear Natalie chat? You don't need Discord open, we're not using it. Okay, so can't hear you guys at all. Let's fix. Okay, Natalie, sound off for me.
Testing.
All right, can y'all hear her chat? Now you can hear her. All right, what about Omni? Can you speak for me, Omni?
Hello, everyone. I'm the last time detect your favorite What American. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. It's just goofy little goblins in this fucking machine here, bro. Don't worry, I'm like a level 20 fucking tech group. No, I'm not. I'm like level 7 probably, but I'm shutting up now. Omni, what's happening?
You're good, buddy. As I was saying, and very aptly, boy, what a fine time we've had getting this set up today. Oh boy. But I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Mouse Guard, the Frontier. So I feel like we're at an interesting place, and I would rather you guys just tell everyone what happened last session. You guys know the drill. I got your fate up in the air, whatever it is you might want. Your fate, your persona, take your pick.
Natalie, will you please go first while I am wrangling these goblins? Also, it would be more appropriate for me to say what happened at the end, given what happened at the end. We can't hear you at all.
I can't hear you at all now. Can you hear yourself?
Check your audio settings. That's something on her computer this time.
It's all right.
Okay, so you can hear us, right?
Hello?
I don't think she can hear us either. I'll be right back.
Right, no problem. Alrighty, so I'm just going to very quickly make sure this is all good. Don't mind me, folks. I'm also adding things in. Let's see. So, just making sure we have everything we need.
Oh,
I can hear you guys.
Yeah, so you don't need Discord is the good news. Because we're not really using it while we're live. You can just use it for the link, and then you're good, and you can close it down.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Okay. So,
so I think I'm starting off the recap. I'm just trying to remember where the beginning of last session was. I think that my character, Sayana, had witnessed, I don't know why I'm blanking on their names now, but Giles' two companions, the brother and sister.
Yep.
Yeah, I cannot remember their name for some reason. But the brother had gotten injured because Red had foolishly tried to capture an owl to be his mount or steed, and that didn't go too well for him. So the brother got hurt, and I saw and tried to help out a little bit since I have some medical knowledge. Um, and after that, I saw Giles walk off into the woods by himself, and the sister of the brother sister duo walking back into camp looking pretty distraught. And after that, I don't know why I'm blanking on what happened after that.
It's all right. That's a pretty important little detail as to all of this, as
Mhm.
since, as you guys might notice, that the illustrious Redemption VA will not be joining us tonight. Red needed a little time. He's doing a
Sadly.
lot of projects. So much love to you, Red.
Love
If
you,
you're out there
buddy.
watching, we love you, pal.
Oh,
Yes, go ahead.
we talked to Gwendolyn, I think, and that's how we learned about the snake den that we later went to scout.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
Serpents Run is what it's called. You nailed it.
that's right. So, Ducon and I got asked by Gwendolyn to go check that out and do some scouting, which is what we initially started doing, but I'll let Ducon explain that part when it's his turn to recap. But when we arrived there, I was able to save a mouse who was injured. He had fallen off the edges of the runes that kind of outlined this serpent's den and fell into some thorns, injured his leg. So I helped him out with that. And in return, he gave me the wise tip of staying off the ground and getting back up on top of the stone structure. And yeah, I'll let Derek take it from there.
That's great. Okay. Your choice, Persona or Fate. I think you did a great job.
Thanks. My memory's all just bad in general.
It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks, let's be real. So the fact that you guys are able to recall any of this, I'm honored, genuinely.
We're invested.
Little victories, guys. That's the sort of shit you want to hear.
Oh, thank you, Dylan, for the Fate of Persona. Sorry, Chat. I am trying to. I'm trying to get. I'm trying to get the music up and running so you guys can have some wonderful accompaniments. But it's fighting me tooth and nail. I'm gonna keep messing with it until either I get it or I give up. I found a green snake and I met him. His name is Green Fang, if I'm not mistaken.
You are correct, sir.
So held him up against a pillar and I was like, "Hey, I'll fucking kill you." And he was like, "No, I could be your friend." And I was like, "All right, you're pretty cute, but you're still made of food, so don't cross me." And he was like, "Okay, what do you want me to do?" I'm leaving out the part where I kind of beat him up a little bit.
You did kind of rough him up a little bit.
That was before he said he was going to be my friend, though. Anyway, I asked him to go get me eyes on the big boss here. I wanted to know what we were up against. Being wise in the ways of serpents, or at least knowing about them somewhat. I figure if I could look at it, then I would know that we what we needed to prepare, what we needed to get ready for. A little bit of a flashback sequence there. I asked Gwendolyn for a signal flare for the Hedgeham's massive fuck off cannon, and they were happy enough to oblige. Flash forward back to Green Fang stirring up the hornet's nest a little bit, running into one of the lieutenants of the big old snake and talking his way out of it. And then I kind of got the gist of like, okay, this is a pretty fucking. There's not going to be any reasoning with these snakes. Something's going to have to give, and it's not going to be us. On our way out, we noticed that the entire layout of the city of Serpents Run, if you can call it that, is built in such a way that's conducive to the movement of snakes, so that they can kind of portion their bodies around these large pillars, especially some of the larger snakes. needing to propel themselves without much to go off of here in such tight corners, relatively speaking to their size. So as everybody was leaving, Yukon was like, "Yeah, no, you guys go on ahead. I'll be right there." And he sent off the flare for them to target a huge swath of these pillars to shut down a good deal of mobility when the inevitable fight breaks out on the next day. But more importantly, kind of a strike across the bow. Let the big guy know, hey, we have something that could just fucking we blew up stone. We could fucking kill you. So if you're not incredibly careful in this fight, um, you know, we keep that motherfucking thing on us. And then I got my ass chewed for it. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summary, more or less. Hold on one second. Just getting that last. Where is the core book? Is the good question.
Oh, hi, Joe. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Ron.
Oh, thank you very much, Bon. I think it's still under there. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. My core book just decided to disappear on me. So yes, that actually is a pretty concise summary. You folks were sent out at the beginning, in no small part because Serpents Run was going to be attacked next. It was the first of the Beast Kingdoms you had to deal with, and as a result, you had to go out scattered out. In part because your forces are kind of operating a little out of their element. And when you did, you ran into Cole, a mouse who lived there, that Sienna ran into and negotiated peace with, immediately learned what was going on the ground. After which Dukan went further in with Cole's help, ambushed a green snake, found out there was a hierarchy in the city of snakes. Just as there was mice under snakes, there are snakes under snakes. It's a whole bunch of snakes. And there's only one snake on top, bigger than a milk snake, bigger than a green snake, or even your garden variety snake, a black viper nearly 8 feet long. And that would be known as the Vicar. And yes, shortly after finding that out, they decided to pull out. And that was when our friend decided to light his flare and reenact Apocalypse Now on Serpent's Run.
Yeah.
Did a very spectacular bang, which did alert the enemy forces, but also did a lot of damage to Serpent's Run structure. So I believe the last thing that you saw of Serpent's Run was Green Fang hissing at you, "What had you done?" where he went slithering off, screeching into the woods. You also agreed to spare his people.
Yep.
So, or at least spare the green snakes, the garden snakes,
Yep.
the wrath of the mouse guard, which you did say you would.
I did say that.
And you then went back. I believe that Gwendolyn tore you a new one for unilaterally ordering a bombing run against Serpent's Run.
Worth it.
But yeah, no, you guys nailed it more or less. After which you got back and Gwendolyn basically said, "Get a little bit of rest because we're going to be going now." It'll be like an hour or so, 2 hours to get down the hill with the tortoises to have battle properly be joined. So that seems right. Audio cuts in and you might want to take a look at that in the chat.
Yeah, for some reason the audio keeps cutting in and out for me.
It's weird.
That's weird. That's something on your side.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be here for now, but I'm hoping it's not going to keep doing that the whole game.
Fingers crossed.
If you need my headphones, just let me know. I can bring.
I don't think it's the headphones. I think it's something with the video. With
Close
the
any
website.
other apps that you might have open on your laptop.
I just have Chrome open.
Well,
all right. We will work around it best we can. So, we will pick up where we left off with you all getting to sleep. Derek, do you have any sufficiently spooky music for me?
I sure do. All right, plugging that in now.
Pardon? There we go. Don't ever grow old, kids. You'll start finding places you can pop bones you didn't know existed.
That is not what I thought you were going to.
I'm trying to keep it relatively PG, even though I'm about to stray very quickly into rated R territory. All right. Beautiful. Oh, perfect. So then, it is shortly after you all return from your mission. Gwendolyn has ordered you to get some rest. It will be a couple hours until the tortoises can get down the mountain. Until then, rest. You will be leading the charge once they get to the bottom. And so, what do you two do?
Um,
I'm really
it's been
asking.
a while.
Sorry.
It's been a while since I've seen my boy Saxon.
Okay.
Or sorry, Preston.
Preston.
What is?
Okay.
Yeah,
Saxton's another
that's
main
his name,
character.
right? Yeah, I confuse their names for some reason. Saxon's married. I'm not trying to
He's not
be a home wrecker.
He's not infirm. He'll beat the shit out of everybody. But yes.
Yeah, sorry, not Siona's type.
That's very fair. So we can start with that. So at this point, by the time you guys get back into the actual mouse caravan itself, you can see that Preston, like much of the mouse caravan, is full on getting ready for war. Preston and his people have to be ready, and you can see that there's like a somber kind of energy on the deck of the Invicta. The Invicta being the massive warship that the Mouse Guard have commissioned for him to pilot over the course of this expedition. And you can see on the deck of it is the ever present and ever intriguing, if this will ever properly load. Here we go. Preston, our middle character here, who for the first time in a long time does not look particularly happy. His face is rather dour, actually. He's ordering men quietly. There's no pomp, there's no circumstance. There's not even any there's no joviality. You're used to this. You've heard how they interact, even in dangerous situations. There's like a kind of a friendly ribbing. There's professionalism, yes, but it's professionalism wrapped in a veil of camaraderie. That's gone. It's just silent working now.
Sorry, the audio cut out again.
It's all right. Give me 1 second. We'll make sure you're good. So, anyhow, the expedition has fallen very deathly quiet. The only sound you can hear is the sound of the huge tortoise in the back with the hedgehog's arrangements on it, banging and clanging, and the sounds of forges roaring in the distance. And Preston sees you approach, gently waves at you from the bow. Lady Sienna, it's a pleasure. I'm a little surprised to see you out and about.
Figured take a look at camp, see how everyone's doing before tomorrow.
Well, hate to say it, but we are. Well, how do I put this? He sort of leans in close. The boys, they haven't been to war in a long time. Most of them are new, um, relatively new. I, I fought in the Hedron War, so I know what open combat looks like. Most of my crew, they're dreading it. The Invicta is shelling the beach off the ocean. That's nothing. They barely interacted with what was going on there. This is terrestrial combat, and my crew are looking. He sort of looks around, more than a little spooked by my assessment. So I'm trying to run them quiet, keep them focused, and keep them out of the ale while I'm shooting straight. Other than that, how are you? I heard you were one of the ones who went down there. What are we looking at?
A lot of snakes, that's for certain. Just, stay out of the weasel's way. Yeah. Don't know if you heard, but decided to set off some type of giant ball of fire. I don't know, I'm not a scientist.
He's the reason the Hedgems opened up their fire lance. I mean, yeah, we all heard that. You can't be within 12 leagues of this place without having heard that. Well, he heard further than that. He looks back, and you can still see like the Hedgems are running around, like the tortoise that they have fired the cannon from. You can see it's a little different than you're used to seeing it. It seems like it has a extra set of like metal legs that it had put down, like clockwork legs, almost like a set of drawbridges off the front and back, almost like a T-brace. And it's slow. They're slowly ratcheting them back up, like teams of 2 hedgehogs at a time. And you can see a couple of them splashing cold water on steaming parts of the thing. Yeah, they, as I understand it, they were ready to fire, but, well, fire lance is a hell of a shot, and it's pretty high up on that thing. I trust the Hedgem's engineering, but those things they're not meant to handle that level of stress constantly. From what I hear, that cannon's supposed to be emplaced within a castle turret, not on the back of a living creature. I'm surprised it didn't keel over. Good news, it's not the only one. And he leans over, and you can see, like, behind him, he gestures to the giant cannon that makes up the center of the Invicta. I'm not particularly keen to set this thing off, too, unless I have to. But, yeah. So he set that off then. I heard Gwendolyn cussing up something fierce. That's unique to her. She's usually a lot more civil around me. So I'm assuming it was improvised then?
Quite improvised. In fact, he didn't even have the courtesy to tell me before setting it off. I'm just surprised and grateful that no one was hurt in the process. I mean, not that I care about the snakes, but there are a considerable amount of mice under those snakes' captivity, and I hope to see them all to safety.
It might be difficult. We'll do our best. Gwendolyn's going to give us a proper briefing when we come down the hill. We have been told we're moving out within the next hour, as are most of the tortoises, but it's going to take a little time. Word of God, we have about, and he flicks open a little pocket watch, and he has this little tiny chrome pocket watch. It's actually really pretty, with little brass fittings inside of it. Word of God
I bet
says
it's
we have
adorable.
3 hours until we head to the bottom. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Nally.
Oh, you're fine. I was just saying, I bet it's adorable. The little pocket watch.
I debated saying it was mouse shaped, but I didn't want to be that ridiculous. This isn't Disneyland. It doesn't have the branding everywhere. So he clicks it shut and puts it inside of his little like bandolier, his little waist pouches, and tucking it away. Are you planning to be on the front lines then?
If that is where I'm needed, then that is where I'll be.
Well then, and he offers out his hand. He
Take
takes
his little mousy hand.
He takes it. He kneels down, kisses her hand, just pats it, and just lets it go. Be safe, my friend. I can't afford to lose more friends in this career. As it is, I'm debating retiring in a few years, and if I lose any more, it might be sooner.
Don't worry. No, I'll see to it that nothing happens to myself as long as you see to it that nothing happens to you.
Oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I've got the Invicta between me and the enemy, and I trust her with my life. And he stomps on the ground. You can feel like the little rattle a little bit as he does. I trust her with my life. Just gentle pats with his foot this time because he doesn't want to shake the boards as much this time. He turns. I got to get back to my crew, but be safe. Get some rest if you're going to be going down there soon. I suspect when you wake up, you might not have much time to get going.
Well, good night then, and good luck tomorrow.
You too, said he nods and bows and returns to his work.
He's so dashing.
Entertainingly, you might have noticed that when you're walking away, you realize he didn't call you Sienna. He called you another name.
He said,
That's
my
the-
dear.
He said, my dear, but then he said, my dear Sedany. A question you might want to ask him about in the future.
I didn't catch that. I was so swooned by his dashing red cape and his eye patch
The
and
eye
and
patch
his
under which his
adorable
eyes.
pocket watch.
He is an adorable boy. I gotta give him that.
Yeah.
So, you do anything
Yes,
else?
but-
Go to sleep?
So I think there's a slight delay. We might need to, like, before speaking, make sure that the other person is done speaking real quick, so we're not talking over each other. Because I think
Okay,
that's what just
gotcha.
happened.
I think that is what's happening.
All right. I was saying, is there anything else you do before you go to bed, Sienna?
I just check on Tom and give him a little peppy speech about, tomorrow and how everything's gonna be okay. But I don't make it too peppy because he's already a little too confident from the last session. So I don't want him doing anything crazy.
He actually seems a little shocked after what he just saw happen in Serpents Run. I think that was the first time he's ever seen a fire lance fire. And in fairness, I think it's the first time all of you have seen a fire lance fire this whole campaign. I don't want to say he's shell shocked because that's not accurate, but he's still kind of processing it. He takes your speech and stride like, yeah, you're right. I need to get a couple of hours of shut eye. We got this. We totally got this. As he walks backwards and then goes to the stairs that lead up to the top of Garo, where he's got the sleeping hammocks for everybody. We got this, and just slop. He flops into the hammock, and a couple of seconds later, you can hear a little snoring. You probably see the Z's coming down from the rafters.
My little mouse son.
Cedric, on the other hand, is on the bottom floor, watching this. He sort of steps out from the front, where he's been quietly sort of sitting, watching Garo getting ready to move again. So then, Serpents Run. Battle has been joined already.
Yes.
Sienna, have you ever served in war before?
No, but in all fairness, most of the Mouse Guard haven't yet.
It's true. Few of us have. And Cedric, who's on the left-hand side of this image, sort of looks at you, and you get a sense of his age now. Normally, he holds himself like a mouse, 10 years younger, but he is pushing 40 now, and he is. It's starting to become noticeable, like the slight gray tinge to the edge of his hair, like the edge of his fur, and his eyes are getting a little bit more like he's getting a little more squinty every day. Like it's not like he's having trouble seeing, but it's like he's tired. And he sort of like walks a little closer, and he says, "Come with me. I want you to see something quickly." And he walks out to the front of Garo on the front of the deck. So at the front, right behind, right where that little entranceway is, Cedric is sort of leaning there, and he sort of gestures out to the expanse of the expedition. So I'm hoping it doesn't come to this, but all this, the expedition's not made for war. It's made for travel. The fact that it's capable of it, full props to Gwendolyn for that. But if we have casualties anything like we did during the Regim War, we're going to lose people. I wouldn't be surprised if a tortoise doesn't make it back. So, and he gestures towards the whole expanse, and he just sort of like holds a thumb out in front of your vision, in front of like both your view. And as he does, you can see his thumb is covering a tortoise or two or three. So we're going to have to get used to traveling lighter, perhaps. It's going to be a bad day tomorrow, no matter how we shake it. What matters, he puts his hands on your shoulders, is that you be who you are at your core, you look after your men, and you survive. Everything's in service of that. You come back, he pats your shoulder like with a firm like clap. I'll consider myself victorious. All right?
All right then.
He nods. Okay. Well, enough of my doomsaying. Get yourself off to rest. It'll be a busy morning in just a couple of hours. Morning at nightfall. A strange day it's going to be.
Strange indeed, but we will see the other side.
Yes. I'm sure we will. He smiles and turns to look back at the expedition. Make me... what roll should I make you roll for me for this? I feel like for this one, it has to be... This is interesting. I'm going to say Persuader. Give me a Persuader roll.
Okay. I'm not terrible in it. I'm gonna explode that die.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Is that Fate or Persona? I always forget.
Fate to explode, you still are gonna need to burn a persona because you're just at a standstill right now.
Isn't that...
No, it's a 6 and a 1. That neutralizes it. But
Oh,
6
6 and a
explodes.
1, right. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I'm bad at math, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why I spoke up. I'm still trying to fix these goblins.
Dude, it's all right. You're only managing the entire channel and all the tech of it. You're, how dare you be slightly distracted? You're good. Santa, mark that as a success. And you're going to, which means that it should shoot up to 3 now, I believe, your Persuader. And you reset. No, wait, you have one more pass left. You're almost there.
No, there's just the one check left, right?
Yep.
What's it?
Oh.
Do I have to get another check after that, or no?
No, you're good. You filled up. I thought that you would already add it in. Yeah, your Persuader
Okay,
upgrades
no, I
automatically to
haven't.
3, and you clear all your passes.
Sweet.
Nice. You can tell from your roll that it's not really to convince him. It's really more to socially observe Cedric. And as you walk away, you can see that Cedric is looking out over the mouse guard, and he doesn't believe it. He's genuinely certain that he's about to lose somebody. And it is bothering him immensely. Like, you've seen that kind of look before, It's very rare, but mice in the territories do still to this day encounter extreme conditions, bad weather. Uh, you've seen a face like that before, and that was on your father during a particularly harrowing famine a couple of years back, where genuinely it looked like your village might starve until the mouse guard delivered aid. And it's that kind of like, yeah, we'll be fine, honey. Pat, pat. Turn away. Terrifying look on face, like, oh, I just lied to my daughter. Hmm. That's what he has that same face on. He has the exact same face as your father did that year. So,
Oh, I'm just gonna have to make sure no mice die.
so with that, Derek.
Yes.
Okay. Does Dukan go straight to bed, or what does he do before then?
Dukan needs to see his best bro.
Okay. So when you catch up, you would have to go all the way to all the way. Like it's not right by your tortoise, the hedgehog's tortoise, which at the moment, as I mentioned, is kind of in a state of being readied. It clearly just fired, and they're pulling up the giant siege braces that are on the sides that allow it to fire the cannon without damaging the structure. But it honestly kind of looks a little bit like it's like the deck of a World War II carrier or battleship after something got hit. Like you can see there's smoke and steam, and it's not just from the forges. There's some splintered timbers here and there, and Hedgeham's just beating on it with mallets and metal plates, securing rivets into damaged pylons. They're basically repairing it as they're going. And a couple of them are even splashing water on the fire lance, which you can still see like a giant spear is glowing over the top of the tortoise. The tip is glowing so bright, you're getting light down here. And they are basically splashing water on it and oil on it, attempting to temper and cool it. And it's so hot towards the tip, they're currently just cooling the base because otherwise they can't stand on it to get buckets further down. Um, at the bottom, you can see Jado is currently just sort of watching the madness unfurl. Nothing particularly for him to do. You get the feeling from looking at his hands, which are like charcoal black, that he was busy a couple minutes ago, probably with like oil or something. But right now, he's just kind of vibing for a second, drinking out of a water skin.
Dukan has heard. The sound would be like none other. Dukan was not lied to. The sound of freedom. A thunderous roar. Truly, brother, your kith have made a most profound weapon.
You can see Jado slowly turn around and look at you as he is watching as he was watching his kin run about, and you can see this weathered Hedgeham sort of turn and nod. Aye, we made a spear to rival that of the gods. Can slay bears, moose, even level cities, and yet a blasted thing can't help but break every mechanism we put it on. And you can see him sort of crossing his arms and just gestures. And you can see, like at the very top, the real locus of the problem, a very visible fracture at the base of the cannon's turret, where when it fired, the solid cast iron hinge that holds it in place cracked on the front.
Shit.
And he just kind of shrugs. Good news. My boys are smart, and they planned for it. We got a couple of backups already forged. That's one of 4 sets, though. So after that, we'll have to smith a new one. But, yeah. Well, needless to say, Raphael's not particularly happy with the results, but he's happy with the impact. So I heard it exceeded his expectations. You grazed a lot of cane for us, brother. Not that I'm particularly complaining. I rather like the light show. Just tell me you made the shot count.
Our ground troops might find it more maneuverable in the city than the snakes previously did. He knows we're coming. What he doesn't know is our number, nor the strategies we intend to employ. Most importantly, he doesn't know the capabilities of this spear.
I suppose you're right. It's just surreal, you know. First time we fired it the whole blinking way. What can I say? I want to see it fire again, but preferably when we have something better to shoot it with. We need a better alloy for it or something. It should be emplaced. It's not made to be put on the back of a beast of burden. To which, by the way, the tortoise, whose head is relatively nearby, just like slowly cranes its head towards Jado and just at him this really long, deep groan. And Jado just like looks at it. You know what I mean. Please. Like, you haven't borne us here the whole way. I'm just saying we don't want to knock you onto your back because we fire the damn thing. In which the tortoise just and like groans and turns its head back away. He leans over to you when he was in Jado. Just goes, that tortoise right there is the angriest bastard in the entire mouse guard. I swear he might even eat a snake if we let him, assuming it gets him close enough. So, I gotta ask, was that snake as big as I thought it was? Because I saw that.
Jado, Dukan must confess something. Dukan has never faced a foe at this magnitude before. Dukan cannot do this alone. Will you fight beside Dukan today, brother?
He pauses. Aye, of course. The Hedgems take this seriously. You all bought our services with blood and coin and honor. I intend to repay it, as do all my kin. I may not be able to fight by your side directly. Depends on what, And he sort of gestures up to the whole apparatus that you hear shouting within. What Raphael thinks I should be doing, but other than that, obviously, you have my fire pike. He just sort of takes the thing and plants it on the ground and nods.
Dukan will speak with Jado's superior. It is important that you are with me today.
Oh boy. All right. Come with me then. Let's get this over with. And he puts it over he puts the fire pike over his shoulder and he hoists himself up with one hand onto the back of the tortoise. And he looks around and you see around you as you get up dozens of Hedgems just skittering back and forth, some carrying like heavy pallets of what look like coal, others carrying wood, some are carrying steel, others pliers with white hot metal in them. You can see one is carrying with another friend what appears to be another one of those replacement hitches. The thing is so big it takes two Hedgems to lift. It's massive. And in the middle of it all, like a whirlwind, you see the very recognizable silhouette of Raphael the Red in rusty red painted armor, this largely pale white spined Hedgem, who, despite the image I've drawn of him, is looking far less serene. His brow is fully furrowed, and he is shouting in a language you don't quite recognize, which you can tell is clearly Hedgem, or some variation of Hedgem, and other people. And slowly he looks over at you guys and just, Ah, blast it. Give me 5 minutes. If you drop that hinge, I'm going to come over and right proper tan your hide. And he walks on over towards you, and you realize like how big he is. He's as big as a weasel. He's as big as you, which is weird for Hedgems. Like Jado's almost in your height range. He's a little shorter than you, but Raphael, he big. He pretty big. And he just takes his big fire pike, which you recognize isn't a normal fire pike. There's something weird he's done to it. He sort of plants it on the ground and leans on it. All right. Considering that you had me fire the damn thing off, I'm interested in hearing your jaw tackle. What is it you want? And he's looking directly at you.
Dukan humbly requests the presence of Jado, and, if you can spare it, a retinue of your finest warriors. We strike for the Serpent's head. There should be present all 3 of our cadre in this land, so the songs that we sing will not find any of us wanting.
Raphael looks down his nose at you, and he does kind of that the Kermit the Frog Muppet face, where he sort of like pulls it in a little bit. I'm gonna have you roll me a. I feel like this is 100% a persuader roll. This is absolutely a persuader roll.
Okay, I'm not great at that, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, I'm pretty good at that right now, actually.
I'm not great at that. I'm only passable at that. But passable does what you need it to do. That's actually solid. That's 3 successes. Give me a second. You're asking a pretty big ask of him here. Okay. That's a success.
Yay.
So mark that down. Jado looks down at you, and you get the very distinct feeling that you just asked for something well above and beyond what would normally be passable. Like, you knew it was a big ask.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see exactly how big an ask it was, because the face he gives you is one of both frustration and incandescent fury. And then he just, before he opens his mouth, he just pauses. I was about to tell you to shove off. I need all my men. But, and he pauses, and he walks closer. You're right. If Serpent's Run is going to fall, Hedgem Blood and Hedgem Steel should do the job as much as Mouse and Weasel.
Dugon's like suppresses a smile at this, like he really respects the shit out of this guy for that.
So here's the deal. And he turns and looks over at Jado. You got 5 minutes. Choose 5 men to go with you. They get to bed now. If I see them up, they stay with me. No ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care how you do it, and you have to be the one to convince them to do it. But if they agree, they're yours to command. Yours, Jado. He turns towards you, Dukan. It's nothing personal. But if Hedgem blood is going to be spilled, it's going to be spilled at the word of a Hedgem.
Dukan would expect nothing less. Perhaps
Good.
Modi may be willing to part with one of ours in exchange.
Make sure they end up on the front line and nowhere near my men, and we'll call it even. All right, that's about all I can give you tonight. I've got a lot of repairs to do. The Fire Lance did more than we asked. Unfortunately for any engineers, as he turns around and glares, you can see a couple of like Hedgems just kind of like shudder away. That means you did your math wrong, and we need to re-engineer the whole fucking assembly. And he just like traipses off into the darkness, like the gloom on the interior of this thing. You notice how big this tortoise and this whole thing is? It's big enough where the interior has gloom. It's like a tower. And he
Jesus
actually walks
Christ.
into the dark, and you don't see him. You just hear his shouting. And Jado just turns to you, and you can see his face is like just pale. And he's like, I swear I thought he was going to fucking brain you for that. All right.
I
I'll
think
get my
that
men.
went well.
Yes, I would say that went very well. And he just claps you on the shoulder. I'm going to get to that. You get to talking to Modi and get yourself some sleep. You have like, crap, where is it? And he looks, and you can see behind you is this, on the ceiling is what looks like a sundial, but around it you can see there's a lamp on a complicated gear system, and it's slowly turning. And you can see the lamp has two little glass vials in it, and right now it's red. During the day, it swaps to a blue vial. And so you can see it's casting light on the sundial on the ceiling as opposed to the way it would normally be working. So he looks at it. Blast. You have like maybe 2 hours. Get yourself some shut eye. We're going to be utterly shite when it comes down to the fighting. Good luck, man. Then he gives you a pat on the shoulder.
Like, kind of like put the top of my head like on his forehead because I know that I can't put it on the top of his head or I'll fucking poke myself with his quills. I just give him that like bro head bump and walk off without another word.
All right. So I'm going to just take a quick look and see. So right now we're at an hour, and either you two need a bio break.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. I think it's probably about to get into some crazy stuff that we won't want to break from.
Yes, it's about to get out of control.
All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to take a quick 5 to 10, and we will be right back with more Mouse Guard: The Frontier. Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for sitting tight and waiting. I surely do appreciate it. The music's working. I just ended up porting it in through a digital cable that I have and using a different browser, so it's going to be a little bit fucky until I get that figured out, but it'll be alright. It's working now. That's all that matters. What's happening?
It's all good, yeah. Oh man, not much. First off, I just got to throw this at you. Just gonna wham.
Ooh, what does that sound?
That would be me.
Ooh, cool.
So, yeah, just wanted to make sure you guys knew. Congratulations. So that's 15 months. 15 months, buddy.
I love you. Thank you. Oh, that was a resub. Holy shit!
That was a resub,
I
man.
just thought you
15
pressed a sound. I thought you just pressed a button to make a sound effect. I didn't realize that this. I didn't realize that there were sound effects on this. The sound alerts thing.
No.
Thank you. I love you.
Dude, love you too, buddy. Wanted to make sure you got
15
that.
months,
That
holy
was
shit.
that was for fixing the audio and being an all-around awesome guy for 15 months.
Thanks, man.
So, and probably for a lot longer. I just didn't know you before that. So, you all went to bed, as I recall. This is where things are going to get fun for me.
Oh no.
So, I'm going to need you folks to do me a favor, and you're going to be making me. This is my first time doing this to you guys, so pardon me. I'm still learning the specifics of how this is going to work. Should be right. Where is it? Should be right there. Abilities. There we go. Okay. Make me will rolls, both of you two.
I don't even know what my will is.
It's right below nature, right above health on your raw abilities.
Oh, I just meant that I don't remember ever rolling it before.
Oh, yes. I don't think I've made any of you roll this before. This is very specific.
I'm willful AF.
You are. 6s, give me 1 second, and now I need to roll. I would love it if it would just show me this. Close. Close. And close. Okay. Now. Okay. Do I? We will. That's better. So that's... Okay. Sienna? I would recommend you explode those D6s.
Okay.
Derek, I would recommend you explode that D6 if you want to as well.
Fuck.
I'll use a persona.
Okay. So that's 2 successes for you, Derek. And then for Sienna, it's another success. Okay. All right. So, Sienna, as you go to bed, you find yourself, as you slowly close your eyes, you quickly find yourself in a very distressing dream. You are walking through the woods and you hear shuddering and hissing on the sides of the roads, and all you can think to do is run. Your mouse nature takes over and you sprint, and you run for what seems like miles until you realize that it has to be a dream, because you aren't back in your parents' village running through the forest you recognize. You're many hundreds of leagues away on another place, and in that moment you stop and turn. The hissing disappears, the sound and the images disappear, and you wake up, and it's just a bad dream. The rest of your night's sleep, pretty comfortable. Jakan, on the other hand, when you go to sleep, seconds pass and you wake up. Your eyes bolt open, and above you, you can see, clear as day, a black viper peering through the shattered remains of your tortoise. Literally face inches from yours. All you can smell is fire and blood. And you realize you're not in your bed, you're on the side of your tortoise, on the inside of the stone. And where this thing is peering through, it's punched through the place where Modi's little warren would be. It is literally shattered through your tortoise's shell to get here. And it is leering at you through this hole, watching impassively.
If you could kill Dukan, you would have. Speak, serpent, before I choke the life out of you on my way to your gullet.
You're the one who did this to us, aren't you? It leans in a little closer. And as it does, you can see that blood is currently splattered all across its muzzle. Now that it's getting closer, you can see the dim torchlight, the one torch turned on its side inside your warren. That its whole face is just red, muzzle back. This thing didn't just swallow, it bit and tore things apart. And in the distance, you can hear the sound of screaming. Mouse, weasel, and hedgehog alike. You're the one that called down the fire from the spiny ones, aren't you?
Yes.
Come with me. I have much to talk to you about. And it lashes out, and you don't get really a reaction. You're just suddenly in its mouth. You feel yourself get pulled up and thrown. And you land like a good 20 feet away from your tortoise, hammering against another one. And make me a scout roll. Okay. That's enough. So, despite the incredible pain you're in, and it is pain, you can see that through like the red fuzz at the edge of your vision, that the entire expedition has been laid to waste. Literally everyone's dead. You're the last person, as far as you can see. A couple of feet away, you can see what's left of Giotto, mercifully buried underneath the wreckage of what appears to be the hedgehog tortoise and the whole assembly on top. And in the distance, you can see the Invicta burning. Everything's dead. And all that you can see around you is occasionally snakes slithering around, swallowing remains whole. And this giant creature, which is truly huge, the Vicar is 8 feet long. By Viper standards, this thing is big. And it slithers close over to you. And by closer towards you, I mean it towers over you. And it leans down. So you destroy my home, and I destroy yours. It's what you wanted, isn't it?
Ducon's just like staring off, like looking desperately for his apprentice, like looking everywhere for him.
Make me a will roll.
Oh no, I don't have a good roll.
I know.
That's crazy. That's crazy. God damn it. He didn't even beat me by much. Oh, shit.
So you can see as you're looking around, you sort of like literally you're just darting left and right, eyes wide, looking for any sign of your apprentice. And as you look back to the left, the vicar's face is right there, right in front of you. As you turn, like suddenly he just fills your entire vision. Looking for someone. Oh, the whelp. Small one, with a serpent's fang. Cute. Yes, well. And he spits on the ground, and you can see a bit of cloth and a shattered serpent tooth blade. He wasn't ready. None of them were. Of course, what do you expect from a great serpent slayer who only slayed serpents with the help of his master and those he got killed? It's almost sad, isn't it?
How? How do you know these things? Claim to know, Serpent. What stories have you? Tellings have you seen?
Dukan's gonna kind of like slink down to his knees, kind of feigning defeat for the moment.
You don't know. Interesting. I didn't expect this. Are your kind so distant from us that you forgot the old ways? And it leans down very close to you. You have. Huh. Well, now that's just sad. And
I'm grabbing the serpent tooth blade. I'm gonna try jabbing his fucking eye. At the same time, I assume he's probably gonna fucking eat me.
make a make a hunter roll.
Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, my hunter. Do I get any snake wise to this or no?
I would say you get snake-wise to this.
Okie dokie. Go away, Windows. I'm trying to see right now. Six, nice.
That's solid, buddy. That's fantastic. So, you grab the thing and run up and just jab it right into the serpent's eye. And you hear it just... and it leans back and thrashes, and its large whip-like tail lashes out and cracks one of the tortoise's bodies nearby, and you can see the bone on the underside of it just crack and splinter as it gets shoved away. This huge thing you've ridden on, and it just knocks it away like a bullwhip. And it just leans back and just... That hurts. Oh, well. And he just sort of winks, and you just see this little thing fall from the sky and just land next to you, and it's the serpent tooth, unbloodied. And it leans in, and its eyes are perfectly clean. No puncture at all. So, the old ways elude you, but the oldest still resides. There may be hope for your kind yet, Weasel. But not here.
Quick digression.
Yo, I saw that raid. Hell yes.
Thank you so much for the raid, Girls Run These Worlds. Welcome in, Raiders. Thank you so very, very much. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt Omni. His performance is spectacular.
By all means, interrupt me for raids. That's awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you all so much.
Dukan is still trapped in the dream at this point, or is awake now?
Dukan, as far as he's aware, is awake. If you want to make me another will roll,
Oh, I'm gonna be
can.
searching here. Oh, I made 2 successes.
Roll 'em.
Hoggo! I'm gonna spend a persona. Oh wait, you're rolling twice. Oh.
No. I was re-rolling because we rolled even.
Oh, I have to roll again. I can't spend a
It is a
persona.
Persona only works if you have 6s, not if you have 5s.
I thought that was fate to explode it. I thought you could add
Oh, that's
persona
right.
for an additional die.
Yes, you can actually. You can. If you're gonna do that.
Ooh, I'm gonna spend another one. Ooh, I'm gonna spend another one. Oh, come on!
I'm so sorry. If you want to re-roll
Finally,
the
that's
reroll,
all of them.
there you go. That'll do.
That's all my
All right.
persona.
Man.
So
I had 5.
it takes you a second.
Oh, okay, so I only spent.
You're good. You're good. So it takes you a second, but you realize there's no way this thing should be unhurt. Like, sure, it should probably not be that hurt. The thing is massive compared to you. The best thing you could have maybe accomplished is maybe graze it, temporarily blind it. But, you know, no sign of injury? This can't be real. But you're still here. And that's a problem. This is the realest dream you've ever had. And you realize you actually feel pain. You felt pain earlier. You can't feel pain in a dream. Not normally.
I have an above the table question.
Sure.
Does Dukan have any reason to suspect that magic exists?
I mean, you've seen the cloaks. You've already seen artifacts of magic.
Right, but that runs parallel with Dukan's understanding of the world through his cultural perspective of like, yeah, if enough shit dies around something, stuff happens to it. And that's kind of what he expected happened with that cloak, given how much weasel death was surrounding that cloak. But so he knows that like snakes can cast spells or perform rituals to enter other people's dreams and keep them trapped there. That's what I'm asking.
This is well and beyond anything you've ever experienced. You've fought serpents before, but serpents in the mouse territories and the areas around the weasel warrens, those creatures aren't organized. They don't have culture in the same way that you and the mice do. And as a result, you don't know what snake civilization is capable of. In fact, the very idea seemed laughable to you but a couple of months ago. The idea of beast kingdoms is only something told of in legends. Yeah. But if you're going by legends, and this is a place clearly of legends, it does follow magic may exist. And there have been tales of serpents who can hypnotize people. You've never heard of it like this. Usually assume it was a literal thing, like, oh yeah, no, it's a serpent, it's moving mesmerizing and throws something off. But this tracks with darker tales. Make me a... Let's see how relevant you can be with this. Dukan, I want you to make me a... Oh man, this is going to be a bit rough for you, I think.
Oh, also my snake-wise went up. That's Pog.
It did. Make me snake-wise, and I'll have you roll... You don't have any of those skills. Roll snake-wise, and we will say that this is equivalent, I would say, to a lore mouse roll. It's be a lore weasel roll for you, but...
So I don't know.
It's just snake-wise.
Just snake-wise. Okay, then.
It's snake-wise, but you are effectively rolling this new roll.
All right. That's okay. Do I need to spend a fate?
I will tell you that if you spend a fate... Let me see. What do you get? Oh, no, you succeed.
Okay.
That's enough. So you get one success. I've added Lore Weasel to the very bottom of your character sheet.
Yay.
So...
One pass.
Yeah. Okay. So... You don't know this... This is kind of an old weasel's tale. But... There was a tale once of a weasel lord who lost his tunnels, not to the living but the dead. The tale goes like this. The weasel lord conquered his kingdom as all weasel lords should, stealing the burrows of the lesser creatures of the world. He deposed mouse, he deposed mole, He deposed even tortoises and even serpents. But he came to the large burrow of a terrifyingly massive snake. And the snake welcomed this Weasel Lord in as a guest. The Weasel Lord repaid him with a knife in his back. The last thing the serpent said was, "You can slay me here, but in your dreams I shall rule your kingdoms." And the weasel laughed and had a good chortle at it and spent the next couple of months building his new warren in. And then one night he went to sleep, and his subjects couldn't wake him. And then slowly he turned blue, and then his skin turned black, and then he died. And the weasel physicians could only assume that he had died of serpent's venom, but no bite shone upon his skin. When they buried him, they found the 2 bites, one on each side of his neck, but they were not there the day before. The Weasel Lord's kingdom fell later that year. That's about as close to the story as you've ever heard, but it's widely believed that the serpent cast some kind of curse on him. Rage is a powerful tool, much like death and pain. It can be a catalyst for darker things. That's as much as you know.
Rage. Interesting. Can I make a nature roll to go fucking goblin mode?
I feel like it's appropriate. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I just had the image of Gutan as a goblin, and it's quite entertaining, actually. That's a pretty good roll there, cowboy. All right. So what is it exactly that you want Dukan to do?
If rage is something that's powerful enough to tap into some kind of darker substrata that exists beneath anything's capable eye, I want Dukan to try and brute force his way into it. To just whip himself up into a frenzy, go berserk 1997, and see if he can shunt himself out of this dream. I'm willing to accept if that means that Yukon has anger issues after this.
I think that's very fair. So, you take a moment and you look about, and this giant, terrifying serpent, who's destroyed everything you've ever cared about, at least for the past couple months anyway, looming over you, has been taunting you, spitting the bones of the creatures you called comrade back at you, even throwing the tools of your apprentice at you. Supposedly having killed them all. It takes very little for you to get angry. But you get angrier and angrier. And red begins to fill the edges of your vision, and it's like all you can feel is hate. And in that moment, you can see the Serpent King becoming a little vaguer and a little bit more foggy, until all you see is 2 pinpricks of bright red light and a vaguely snake-like shadow. And the shadow just sort of cocks its head. Ah, there it is. Rage. Your people do have magic in them. Well, my work here is done. You destroyed my home. I destroyed yours. And now, I've taken from you 2 hours to rest. Good night, Snake Killer. I look forward to seeing you with the dawn. And you hear this big boom as its tail lifts up, hits the ground, and it's like the entire earth collapses around you, and then you wake up. And when you wake up, you're going to have, and this is my job to put on you, you're no longer healthy.
Oh no.
You now have the angry disposition, and
Oh.
also the injured disposition.
Oh no.
As when you wake up, you sit up, and immediately pain radiates across your chest, and you look at your fur, and you see, in the same shape of the tail that lashed you, this big red and blue welt across your chest like you'd been struck by it. Right where you were hit in the dream. Clearly it hurt you. Actually hurt you.
Dukan just kind of silently looks at this, wincing in pain. Probably just sits in silence for a long moment, thinking about the implications of what he just opened himself up to.
Okay. I'm going to say that this point, I want you two to make me scouting rolls. Both of you.
Your audio's cutting in and out, but you wanted a scouting roll. I definitely heard that.
Scouting rolls from both of you two. Yes. Wow. Okay.
At least I level up from all of my scouting failures.
You do, and that's huge. That's great. So Sayana, when you wake up, you kind of look around from your dream, you're just kind of like, whatever. And nothing that weird.
I had a wonderful dream that I was back home in my village, frolicking through the forest with all these little grass snakes.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lovely time. You're good. Dukan, you, on the other hand, you hear a shuffling and a soft coming from inside of Modi's den. Thank you, Neris.
Neris, you rule. Can I clear the injured condition, please?
Yes, I will clear that for you right now. So you are, as you sit upright, the pain slowly fades. It's still bruised, but it's not enough where it's going to prevent you from moving or doing anything that you need to do. So the injured condition is gone. It's a good thing you got rid of that. That was going to screw with you real hard.
That was going to be really fucking brutal. Thank you so much, Neris. Love you. I'm happy to keep angry. I'll keep that for the rest of the campaign. I don't care.
Okay. No, that's perfectly fair. So, you heard something coming from inside of Modi's room. Like a groaning coming from within there. What do you do? Or do you do anything?
Gonna break protocol and just bust on in there to make sure it's not like an assassin trying to kill one of the leaders of the Mouse Expeditionary Force.
You can see Modi the Red, this normally terrifying creature, and truly terrifying, even to weasel kind. Modi is a paragon of her people. And she is just on her back, sweating and shuddering and writhing. She is having a terrible dream.
Modi, wake up!
Like shaking her kind of forcefully.
Okay, that's enough. Modi sits bolt upright and just immediately reaches over, grabs her sword with the scabbard in it, and just on the scabbard on it, just sort of like pushes you back and goes to unsheath and just stops. And you can see her eyes, which were at this point like fully dilated, just like zoom like back into normal. Dukan puts the blade down next to her, and you can hear this thud as this weasel-sized sword hits the ground next to you. Dangerous of you to come into my warren.
Dukan had similar dream.
Black serpent, red eyes.
Destruction, far as you can see.
Go to the other tortoises. See who else is afflicted. This is not clearly us. And she stands up and grabs the blade. I will take care of our brothers and sisters below. Wake up, you wretches! And she begins to stomp on like the top of the tortoise. You can hear the tortoise just quiet, and she slinks down and begins to like batter on the doors below you. Your call, Chief.
Dukan Angie. He tries as best as he can to explain what it is that he just learned, but I think that he's still so shaken by it that it just all comes tumbling out of his mouth in like a jumbled heap. Like he's just saying like,
Deep magic, predators, rage, ritual, old king, the mole slayer.
Are you saying that to Modi?
yeah.
She turns around and looks at you. I know what you speak of. I remember the stories, and they don't matter right now. There are others that are being attacked, I'm sure of it. Go to Gwendolyn and the other hedgehogs, and all the other tortoises and the mice, and make sure they're awake. I'd rather they be sleepy than harmed. It's clearly you've been. And she looks down and just gestures with her blade, with like the butt of her blade towards your stomach, and you can see just like this. Yeah, no, you got this giant purple triangle across your chest where you clearly caught either a bullwhip or a dream snake. One of the two, and you know which one it is.
Right away.
I'm gonna go to Sayana first.
Okay.
I'm gonna send my apprentice to go get Jado. Tell him, you know, you need to check in with the hedgehogs, the hedgehogs. I'm gonna go to Sayana and be like, hey, you need to check in with the mice, because Gwendolyn and I are on good terms right now. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So the next couple of minutes go pretty quickly. You send your apprentice out to go and check with everyone else. And after a couple of minutes, you can hear all across the camp, like as people are waking up and lights are being ignited. And Sayana, eventually, I imagine that our friend here, Dukan, gets to you, since you're his first target. Play it out, you two.
Is she like catatonic?
You can wake up at will. That's normal.
Little one, awaken! Awaken!
I'm awake. What's going on?
That's how I wake up my wife on Saturdays. I'm just kidding. It's usually, do you want breakfast? I say,
What did you dream?
Dream? Nothing particular. I was back home running. There's hissing, but we're about to fight snakes, so just your run-of-the-mill before going to war with snakes dream.
You are not injured.
No.
Get your and all those that you have the authority to. This is Ancient.
What's the word? I guess for lack of a better term, right?
Right or magics. Either one would work.
I'm trying to avoid using the word magic.
They wouldn't. They
wouldn't-
know what
they use the word magic? Okay.
magic. This would be fell magic would be the proper term. If we're gonna go by what ancient things would call it, like magic is not seen the way that we do. They never had Harry Potter. They never had a version of magic that was sanitized and pleasant. There's no Gandalf or there's no one running around saving the world with it. Magic was almost always a herald of doom and destruction to the Mouse Guard. The best it was prophetic, and that still usually foretold or it portended terrible events. It was almost never a positive thing.
Fell magic.
What is spelled magic?
I just like point to my chest.
Do you remember seeing this on me hours ago?
Did you get hit by some of the flying bits of your fire magic?
That is no magic. Mice are so difficult. You like your work.
As far as Cyan is concerned, it's magic. She's never seen anything like that before.
It's fair. Let's see. No, that would be a fair assessment. You've never seen anything nearly like that. Okay.
What are those rolls?
Just that. Yeah, no, that was me. Next to you guys in another hammock, you can hear just a soft little sound and like a quaking. And as you two look over, you can see Cedric in his hammock. And you can see that one of his hands is slowly becoming blue.
I flip him out of that hammock immediately. I just like grab the hammock and just whoop, like a sack of potatoes.
What are you doing? Go rush to help Cedric.
You hear, and then it hits the ground and it sort of tumbles down. It's like the second story, so it's hammock. It's like a couple boards under there for you guys to sort of clamber into it, and then there's this open hole, and he just fell down the hole and just onto like the platform below and onto the ground. Ow!
He lives.
Ah!
Wonderful, Sayana. We can save
No
others as
thanks
well.
to you. What are you doing?
Hurry, there is no time.
No time for what? You haven't explained anything. You're just rambling about field magic and throwing mice off of hammocks.
You can't.
What did he say? And you can see Cedric like sits upright, just points up to you, like completely forgetting the fact that he just fell off the second story of his building and onto a table. What did you say?
Fell magic, Cedric.
Get to it now. Something
Yes.
is messing with us. And he
Say
holds
no
his
more,
hand up.
Cedric. I trust you.
Oh, fuck you.
He holds his hand up, and you can see like his fingertips were getting black, and his hand was getting blue, like halfway down his forearm, and it slowly begins receding as it begins to hiss. It bit me. In the dream, it bit me. I think it's trying to do that to everyone. I don't know if it's succeeding with everyone. Wake up everyone else. Put on a general
Right.
alarm.
Grab like a pot and pan and just start banging. Will that wake them up?
Yeah, that'll fucking do it.
Nice.
All right.
Practical.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot faster.
So a couple of seconds of, what is it? I ain't gonna sleep. I didn't get any sleep with all of you. You're not gonna get any sleep with me. Like you doing that for a couple minutes, and like all the mice like waking up, at least in your particular tortoise, and everyone seems to be okay. No other reports of like horrifying visions. A couple of them report like they heard like rustling in their dreams and like serpent sounds, but nothing that bad.
Where is Tom? Where is my precious baby mouse boy?
He's fine. He
Okay.
actually, I rolled for everyone, by the way, before the session began. The entire expedition. So, I know who failed. He did not. So, he immediately looks over like, so, I did see a weird thing in my dream, but I assume from that, everyone saw weird things in their dreams. So, I'm ready to kill snakes now, please, in the real world. Because if I have to sleep like that again, I'm going to be very, very cross.
Mhm.
And He just pushes himself out of his hammock and flops to the ground. Over the next couple
No,
of... Go ahead.
wait. You don't have to like roleplay it unless he failed, but I go run to Preston's turtle to check on him next.
Preston sleeps in the Invicta.
Yeah.
That's a great impulse.
Sleeps in his car.
You get on board. You're gonna want to make a mouse nature roll to get up, because when you come running up, there's no one manning the like rope ladder or the rope nets that would normally pull you up, and the thing is up on its legs, so that's good enough. You get a base success, so that works.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, you're a mouse. Climbing's natural to you. It's just a little bit weird. It's like climbing on a jungle gym instead of a tree trunk, but it does well enough. So you manage to climb yourself up there, and you can see the entire crew is on the deck, and they're all just like, and you've seen this before. You've seen them sleep. They kind of just fall where they will and like just sleep the night off. But you can see most of them are sleeping soundly, but a couple of them are on the ground twitching and moaning, and you can see blue slowly creeping up parts of their body, black on some of their extremities, and you can hear groaning from up top, where Cedric and the officers sleep.
Oh, I'm gonna just start yelling, "Wake up!" and like clapping my hands as I run up to where Preston and Cedric are.
There is a bell if you wanted to ring it.
Oh,
to
yeah.
call soldiers to attention.
Yeah,
So,
let's do that.
okay. So you grab your mace and just kind of, and very quickly you see all the mice like instantly just jerk awake, and Preston behind you jerks awake along with another mouse nearby who was his first mate. Both sit upright, and you can see as they do, the black had creeped all the way to the edge of their chins and is beginning to creep back away from them. I'm going to make 2 quick rolls here, because this is highly relevant, and I'd like you to work.
Not Preston, no.
Okay, give it a second. It is loading. Roll 20 decided to boot me out of my own game.
Love to see.
There we go. Okay. And whoop, lock. Okay. All right. So, below deck, you can see everyone like beginning to sit upright and wake up, but one of them doesn't. And you can see like the other mice like all waking up and looking around, and then like one of them's just kind of like, guys, Reggie's not moving. And like you can see down below on the deck, and that mouse is like curled up and like rictus frozen, and the black has completely consumed his skin. He is dead. It takes like seconds for one of them to put their finger on and be like, he's not breathing, he's gone. And they just cover him in his own cloak.
I
Sorry.
will avenge you, Reggie. I will kill every snake, every bad snake, not the good snakes that are with Green Fang, but I will kill every bad snake that we come across.
So you see the other mice on the deck, like slowly Preston clambers up, using his fire pike like his fire, technically, yeah, it's his fire pike. Using his fire pike kind of like a crutch, he stands himself up, and like you can see his hands are going like steadily back from black to blue to slowly getting pink back, but like it leaves behind like a lattice work of like blue veins behind. They're slowly disappearing, but it's taking a while. Apparently, the longer this goes on, the more debilitating it is, possibly even permanent. What you can see, though, he's like slowly shaking it away as his first mate is doing the same. All right, so that sucked. He swallowed me. The big black one? He swallowed me.
Victor.
The vicar.
That
I'm
is
going to
our
have
target.
words with him.
We are going to have words with him.
Aye. On that we agree. And he slowly gets himself fully to his own height. Sort of like pops his back as he does. Stops leaning on it and puts his fire pike away. Have you reached out to anyone else? Are these dreams everywhere? Or was it us?
I'm sorry. I didn't know Red was in here.
What did he say?
It's up the hell.
Oh, love you, buddy.
Love you, Red. It's good to see you, buddy. Much love.
It answers Preston's question. It seems as if attempts were made to curse the whole camp, although some were unaffected for unknown reasons. Perhaps the snake's magic only has its limits.
Seems reasonable, I suppose. Of a sort. First beast kingdoms, and now serpent magic. We have all the bloody luck, don't we? Has anyone checked on Gwendolyn yet?
I suppose that should have been my first priority, but I'm afraid that seems that I had other priorities. We should check on her at once.
I agree. Men, get out there, wake every tortoise you can. Use your weapons if you have to. Okay. So, Cedric begins ordering his crew to do their thing and turns to you. Get to her now. I have to take care of the rest. And frankly, I'm not particularly fast on managing this thing. If the serpents attacked us in our dreams, who knows what they're planning in the real world? So, you guys have checked on Preston.
Is my boy alright?
Your boy, yes, he's a-okay. He woke up, he went to go do his runs. So, he, as far as you're aware, went to go check on the Hedgehogs first.
There's a lot of mice turtles. There's a lot more than there are Hedgehog turtles. So I'm gonna trust in my apprentice here, for better or for worse, and I'm just gonna start going to the other mice. Or just make as much noise as I can while I check on Gwendolyn.
Okay.
I don't need to roleplay myself out. I'm a weasel. They'll freak out enough.
All right. So you're going to check on mice. Any particular mice you want to check up on, or just generally all of them?
Well, I would like to make sure that the wolframites are good for one, because I know how fierce they are of combatants. How I've kind of grown to appreciate them, particularly amongst.
Okay, that's fair.
As far as I know, their leader still isn't here.
Correct. Giles is not returned.
Here.
All right. So then the next question is, Sienna, where are you going next?
I guess I'll go check on the old mouse who is living in the library thing.
Okay.
The one that I got information from.
All right. Neither of you two are going to check on Gwendolyn?
Oh, I thought that Preston's mice were doing that, but I will go do that if not.
Preston's mice were told to go check on everyone. He sent as many as he could to check on Gwendolyn, but you guys would have a faster, way to get there.
They gotta put their boots
from where
on.
you are.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll go check on her.
Okay. So that's the case then. We're gonna start with you then. We will go with Dukan. Dukan, you get to the tortoise that's carrying the wolframites, and this tortoise seems to be doing, for the most part, seemingly well. Its crew are all sleeping on the decks. Make me a scouting roll.
Ooh. Fuck!
9.
I made it worse.
Oh boy.
Having a persona for this operation.
Okay.
We got some from the chat earlier.
I know I've used one of those so far. Do you know how many total you've gotten?
Let
Hmm.
me take a look and see.
I think we've gotten 2 from them so far.
I think that's correct. I think you got 2.
I know Alec gave us one. I know Bon has given us one.
Dylan gave us
Dylan
one.
gave us one, so that's one more.
Neris also gave you one, so
Neris
you have at
also
least
gives-
2 in the pool.
So we have.
There's
in the
only
pool.
one right now, right? Yeah, 3
Yeah.
left.
So we had 4. So if you want to use one more, I'm fine with that.
Oh, Dylan's given us 2 actually. So
Nice.
it's 4 in the pool. That is not the same one that I remember Bon giving us, so that I'm in the. So I'm just counting
Okay.
these up. And chat continues going onwards. I can't.
That's good. That's
So
fine.
we have at
We'll
least
say
5 in the pool. Okay, so I need at least 2.
Correct.
Okay, that worked out.
That's perfect. So, you come over there, and for the most part, the Wolframites are sleeping soundly. But so far, like everywhere else you've seen, some of them seem to be having a deeper, darker sleep than others. One of them, in particular, who you would recognize as Arabelle, is slowly turning blue and shuddering.
I am gonna rush straight up to Arabelle, pick her up, and
Awaken! Small mouse! Awaken!
I'm sorry, it's not funny, but the image of just like Ragdoll shaking this mouse is pretty fucking funny. Yeah, so you shake her, and she immediately just like, what? What on? Ah, my bloody arms! And like you can look down and you can see like, yeah, it was creeping up her elbows by the time you got to her.
Fell magic! Fell magic! Get your men. Rouse them from their slumber. They face doom.
Damn it! And she just lands on the ground and she reaches over and you can see like she goes to pick up her like standard and her hands are just numb. She just grabs it, just kind of like fumbles and she's bloody hell! And then she just reaches over and kicks the thing up, grabs it, and she just throws the whole standard into like what appears to be a pile of like bowls and plates that are sort of like assembled at the end to be cleaned. And the loud clattering wakes up almost all the Wolframites. I'm gonna make one more test.
Natalie, let's go
Okay.
ahead and split those Fate and Persona amongst ourselves. Right now, there's 4 in the chat because I used 2 of those. That takes up to the remaining 2, or you can take 3 of them because I've already used 3. Oh, okay.
Mercifully, everyone wakes up. Everyone. The Wolframites are safe. All of them
Thank fuck.
pissed, many of them scared, all of them trading stories of, and all of them this time trading stories of serpents in the dark, some being bitten, some being swallowed, some being crushed. But all of them were being hunted, and it's all of them now. Like, this isn't a 1 or 2 people were having bad sleep. They were all starting to have a bad dream, which tells you the longer this goes, the more likely it's affecting everyone with time.
Fantastic. So I think that as unless you're still sticking on Dukan, as the scene kind of pans out,
I think that's fair.
it's just Dukan like running down the aisles of bunks, like pulling mice out of their hammocks, out of their beds, like as best he can to help wake them up as quick as possible. He's not tactful on the best of days, and now he's just completely angry. He's got effectively one will, people.
Right. As you check the next 2 to 3 tortoises, you were able to wake up pretty much everyone, with 2 exceptions. There are 2 more mice that have died in their sleep, consumed by this strange black poison that invaded their dreams. They do not wake. They are on separate tortoises, And as far as you can tell, the command echelons have all survived, but there's a not insignificant amount of rage and mourning going on at the moment across the expedition. Speaking of, as we flip back over to Cyanna, you were heading to Gwendolyn first, correct? Okay. All right. So, when you get onto the deck, you can already see that a number of the mice on the deck are already like almost completely blue. And you can't see from where Gwendolyn is resting here, but you can hear deep, pained moans coming from within her chambers of 2 mice.
I don't suppose there's a bell over here.
Make me a scouting roll.
Finally have 2 in that now, I think. Yes. Ooh. I will use one of my persona die. Oh, come on. Okay, there's no time to find a bell. I just start yelling while also trying to, like, shake any mice that I pass by on my way to Gwendolyn's door.
All right. So you begin to shake mice awake and shout and scream. And as you do, I'm just doing some rolls for them. Okay, so for the most part, the mice are waking up. One, by the time you get to them, you turn them over and they have already, like when you roll them over, they're stiff and cold to the touch and in just this crunched up rictus like scream. And they've clearly passed. By the time you get to Gwendolyn's door, you throw it open, you can see that both Gwendolyn and Saxon are slowly, like, they're not even slowly, they're quickly turning black. They are almost completely blue. So
I'm gonna leap on the bed, just dive on them. They're old, I hope it doesn't hurt them too much, but it's better than dying.
Okay. All right. Saxon immediately wakes up. Just right up, sits upright. What in the bloody hell was that? Gwendolyn? And Gwendolyn is moaning and still slowly turning black. And looking over at her and then at you, he's just going to say, medicine. Get her medicine. It's in the cabinet right behind you. She struggles to wake up in the mornings. Get it. And he like points right behind you and he's just like slowly trying to like slap her awake. Try again.
Leap off the bed, grab the medicine, and throw it to him.
Oh my god.
Okay, so
And can I give her a persona point?
You know what? Normally
Like-
I wouldn't say no, but this is interesting. Yeah, sure. We'll do it.
Okay.
Oh my god.
So
Is that a reroll or what happened?
Oh my god.
So he administers the medication, and she's clearly trying to wake up, but she's struggling. Do you have healer by any chance?
I think I do actually.
Oh my god. This
Okay.
is so
I have
bad.
2. I have 2 in healer.
All right.
No, I'm
Oh
rerolling.
my god, no!
No.
Nice.
Oh, fuck. I got 1. I don't know.
Okay.
Do I need to keep rolling?
One
That's 2
count
ones.
against
You
6.
currently are at a.
There
That's
we
a
go. And then let's explode that.
There you
Okay.
go. That is
Not
by the
on my
skin of your
watch,
teeth.
Gwendolyn. Not on my watch.
Okay. And one final one.
Oh,
This
come
is tough.
on.
Oh my god. She's fighting for her fucking life!
Explode
There
the
we
6.
go.
Explode it.
Like, you realize that the process of this medicine working, it's meant to slowly rouse her. Gwendolyn is old. Like, even by mouse standards. She's pushing, like, at this point, she's 70 in an Iron Age culture. So, old. This medication is, from what you can tell, from what I would say our closest comparison would be, this is a medication that's designed to allow her to breathe easier when she sleeps. Basically, she's like a lot of older folks as they get older. They occasionally need help getting oxygen in their lungs. They might stop breathing, which is why you occasionally have those lovely masks you see people wear, CPAPs.
CPAP.
This is basically the medicinal equivalent of a CPAP. It's meant to be administered likely over the course of the night. Saxon was unable to wake, and all of the other equerries were clearly unconscious, so they couldn't administer it. So this is taking time to work. She has been without oxygen for a bit, and as a result, it takes a while for her to wake up even normally.
Mouth
Forgetting
to
that
mouth
there's-
resuscitation.
Mouse to
Yeah.
mouse resuscitation.
Yeah, mouse to mouse resuscitation. The process is slow and painful, and Saxon is outright panicking until you step in and you slowly begin to work the medicine into her. The only way you can really do so is to just like manually masticate it, and that's by putting your hand on her stomach and just pushing and grinding it within her stomach, which is really painful, by the way. And also on top of that, when that doesn't work, you realize you need to give her probably more of a dosage because she hasn't gotten any of her doses for the evening for a bit. So basically, you have to take it, grind up this powder, cut into her arm, and rub it directly into her bloodstream. The process is painful and extremely unpleasant, but eventually she just and sits upright, and at this point she's almost like completely black to like nearly the tip of her nose, and as she breathes in, the pink like surges in from the front of her nose and just pushes its way down her body. She sits up. We need to get you trained as a healer, Mouse. Oh, Saxon,
Sorry.
wow.
I took some very basic medical training, but it's been a while.
She looks over at her arm and sees like the cut on it, and like you didn't really have time for like a light cut, so you had to cut it pretty deep to get it in there. So she reaches over and she takes a cloth and she wraps around and ties it around herself. I'm gonna have her roll for that. It's very quick. Okay, yeah, it's good enough. So she ties it pretty tight. Gwendolyn's spent many a year doing many different things, and she's learned how to heal. So as she ties it up tight and cinches and she sort of hisses, "Well, there goes my leading from the front today. I can't wield a halberd with one hand. Not in my age." She sits upright. "But I'm alive. How's everyone else?"
There have been some minor casualties from what I've seen, but none of high ranks from what I have gathered, although I've only been able to check on a few before coming here.
Very well. I suppose at this point, most of the tortoises are being roused at the moment.
Everyone should be roused or being roused. The weasel is the one who first informed us, and we worked from there.
Weasel. You mean Modi, or do you mean your friend?
Suppose you could call him a friend at this point. Yes, it was Dukan.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't kill him earlier today, then. And she just walks over to the door. Get a body policing unit around. Grab some mice. Gather up the corpses. We'll put them in the larder for now. We have no time to bury. We go to war shortly. So much for rest. The snakes want war. We give it to them. And she slowly limps out the door, and Saxon like runs over towards her and turns around to look at you very quickly, and he just sort of nods. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm only sorry I couldn't do more, but I'm glad that you're both still here.
Every day's a blessing at this age, lass. Thank you. And he's gonna step slowly out the door. So the next couple of minutes bring the numbers in, and a total of, as I'm just gonna do this a couple more times. Okay. Oh, Jesus. All right. So, of the remaining tortoises, 5 report casualties. 1 got up to 3 dead. That was the most. Total, the Mouse Expedition has lost about 10 mice to this dream state, this dream attack. To which, as you guys go about getting ready, you can hear how pissed everyone is. It's like the entire camp is fuming. They are livid, and reasonably so. A couple of minutes after the bodies are policed and put away and given honors, Gwendolyn announces the attack, and the tortoises begin surging down the hill. We have probably about, it's about 2.5 hours in. Did you guys want a bio break for this last segment?
Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Right. Don't go anywhere, anybody. We're gonna take 5 to 10. We'll be right back with you. folks. Thank you all so very much for. Once again, you can use those links provided right on chat there to 10% off a custom dice case by the Shady Sale. Very much.
Excellent. So, we are going to begin on an actual attack. This is going to be one of those rare instances where we are going to have warfare. True war
Yay!
in the Mouse territories. Or in this case, in the Mouse expedition. So, Derek, before we swap music, you guys do see one final thing. As troops begin to ready themselves across the expedition, both you as Dukan and you, Natalie, as Sienna, both see Cedric walking towards what appears to be Gwendolyn's tortoise, and he is bearing in his hands a familiar bundle. So, a bundle, I should say, that Dukan, the last time you saw, you did not react well to. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Mm.
Who is it?
So,
Say it. Say it. Say the goddamn.
oh, it's not a person. It's not a person. It's not a mouse. It's cloth.
It's the cloak, remember?
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that completely. Sorry, I'm doing production.
No, it's all right.
at the
It's
same
been
time.
like 6-7 sessions and a continent ago. It's fair. This is a long pull, but I forget nothing. And so, in this instance, you see Cedric approaching Gwendolyn's tortoise. He's bearing under his hands a bright orange cloak, old and musty, seems to have like a soft, pale glow in the dark. Not like truly glowing, but it's kind of like your eyes focus on it whenever you look at it, both the two of you. I imagine this is as you're all getting ready to gather your mice and the hedgehogs and the weasels for war. And you just sort of, in passing, see Cedric walking towards Gwendolyn's tortoise, bearing this, his face solemn as he does.
Dukan is doing everything. Can I make a will roll?
Yeah, rock it, buddy. I want to see what you got. Let's see what you got.
Dukan is doing. I can't say that thing. Sucks. No, I almost said it. Dukan is doing his best to Kanye best. Joke.
You're
I
allowed
can't
to
say
make
that. No, that guy sucks now. You can't say
you're
that.
fine.
Yeah, you can't. I mean,
Dude, you're punching up. It's fine. It's clearly a joke at his expense. Continue.
Dukan is doing his Kanye best to not just like it and fucking tear the closest mouse next. He succeeds, luckily.
Yes, he does. You are angry, but there's like a dread that hovers over you that helps temper it. Even feeling the cloak like 20 feet or something away from you is still enough to make you feel like your hackles rise. And it's that same kind of witchery that you just experienced. There's something foul in it. Sienna, do you do anything?
Probably not. I just recognize the cloak and I'm like, oh, why would he want to wear that dusty old thing to battle? Must be sentimental.
That's fair.
I
So,
didn't get that whole magical vibe from it the first time around, so I'm assuming I still don't have it.
that's true. That's very true. Okay. So, since you two do your thing, within the next 20 minutes, the Mouse Guard are arrayed for war, and you hear the sounds of war horns. Derek, now's your cue. Go ahead, buddy. Slap us into some badass combat music. Preferably like dour, dark combat music, the grittiest got. I'm down with it.
Got it, buddy.
Sick. Perfect. So, the Mouse Guard arrayed for war is a thing that neither of the two of you have really fully seen yet. You've seen the Mouse Guard, to a degree, preparing for combat. They took the beach. But never siege. Not like this. Before, it was rafts finding land. And now, the tortoises that were so defenseless on the water come charging down the hill. And you can feel it in your bones as these tortoises charge down. Pissed. They are just as angry of the death of their charges as the mice on their backs howling vengeance are. So, Jakan, you have your unit of Hedgems, and at the front is a very pissed off Jado, who has had to bury 2 of his own hedgehog brothers before battle even began. He's not happy. Neither is Raphael or anyone else. And at the very front, you can see the Invicta on its strange walking legs, sprinting, half falling down the mountain, guns blazing on its back. First contact happens before you even hit Serpents Run, as Serpent scouts come lunging out of the dark at various tortoises and ships as they go by. So this is where I'm going to have you guys start contributing to combat.
Is Sayana with me, or is Sayana in her own unit?
I assume you are tactically in the same squad. However you're handling it, it's your business. You're close enough where you can interact with each other. Cyano, I assume you're leading mice. The same way that Jakan, I assume you're leading weasels.
Oh, I have weasels with me? Bet. I thought I was soloing this.
No, you are not. At the
I'm
moment,
sick.
Modi is currently riding on the back of the command tortoise.
That's gonna pay off well.
With Gwendolyn acting like an insanely badass bodyguard to her. And she has tentatively left you in control of the other 2 weasels.
Dukan will remember this if you upload.
Yeah. Dukan liked this, plus 10. So, as snakes begin attacking out of the underbrush, what are you 2 doing? What are your plans? And this is where I ask you, which of the 3 things do you do in war? Attack, defend, feint, or maneuver?
I think... I was thinking we should defend, but maybe we should strike, because we probably have the element of surprise.
Are we making separate decisions here, or do we have to come to agreement?
These are separate decisions.
Okay, cool.
You will each have your own actions. You are dealing with scouts lunging at you out of the darkness.
Cool.
I think I'm gonna have me and my mice boys defend.
Okay. All right, so that's defense. And what about you, Derek? What are you doing?
I would like to maneuver, using the mice not as like a meat shield in a bad way, but I mean they are literally defending. Like that is using smorts there. They are the anvil. So we're gonna put ourselves in a tactically position to shut these scouts down.
All right. So, if that's the case, then, and I just want to make sure I got this right. Okay, and versus that. Interesting. That's very interesting. Okay, so, Dukan, you're going to be making me a hunter roll.
Oh boy. Snake-wise?
You can add snake-wise to this. Cyana, because of your choice of defense, you actually gain no roll at all. Because your attack, actually, your defense posture, it isn't against an attack. It's against a feint. And it robs you of a defense. As what comes leaping out of the bushes at your mice and you, that isn't serpents. That's mice. Many of them are carrying what appear to be alchemical satchels on their backs. Some of them are hissing with fire. The serpents apparently have begun to weaponize their serfs. So, I'm going to make a quick roll here. So that was way the fuck... Okay, so there we go. I was like, what the fuck? I didn't roll that many dice! No, that's Dukan's insane roll. okay, that's a little more believable. I was like, wow, I thought that was bad. Okay, versus what was attacking you is D20s. That's not D20s. There you go. That's more like it. Holy cannoli.
That's a crit.
Yikes. Yes, that's a crit, and in the wrong system too. Why did it give me D20s? I'll never know. So, Sayana, your troops defending against what is going to be coming as a normal attack. You were expecting serpents, like what's hitting the front, but what comes pouring out of the grass is largely serfs, some with what appears to be some kind of satchel of alchemical syrup on it, like an amber, designed to burn. And they come lunging at the caravan, and behind in the grass, you can see this shape of serpents hissing and rattling, driving them onward under threat of death. They'll either win and live or die and be eaten by serpents, but it's their call. So they chose to attack you. Thankfully, your mouse brigade actually suffers only a few minor burns, as for the most part, their attack seems to have been blunted. They charge up, and the tortoise itself is so high that most of them cannot get up to you before their alchemical satchels burst, and they descend onto the ground screaming. Only a couple of them get close enough, and your mice, thankfully, are able to answer them and push them off before their chemical satchels burst. Or in one case, even managed to get one of their satchels off and pull the scrambling weeping mouse up onto the deck. It is not interested in fighting. Now that its satchel is off, it is A-OK and happy to be on board. It even offers to take a spear and join you immediately. So that was about as good a roll as I could have made. That was like pure failure. That was pure failure and one critical fail. The Serpents actually lost a trooper there, and not just to their own method of attack. On the other hand, Derek, what attacks you at the forefront is Serpents. Unfortunately, it's mostly green Serpents being egged on by a milk serpent.
I think I chose maneuver instead of attack.
Exactly. So as these things come lunging at you, you can see the green serpents being harried by the milk serpent. Green serpents are wearing almost no armor. It seems like a couple of them are like wrapped in leather, like a belt, kind of cinched up so that they're a little protected. But the big milk snake behind is wearing like segmented metal armor that has been clearly fastened with buckles on every segment, likely by the hands of mice. And from its bloody mouth, you can tell that it likely ensured that violently. The green serpents are doing their best to distract, while the milk serpent is getting ready to lash out and try to kill your men. However, you rolled so high that you basically can defeat this attack outright. So tell me, Derek, how do you want to do this?
The Hedgems form this kind of like shield wall with the weasels running around behind the green snakes, kind of like in a hammer and anvil, like a mini hammer and anvil inside of a hammer and anvil situation going on. They are not attacking them, they are just like shoving them back. They are corralling all of these snakes as Dukan runs up, finds a like rocky outcropping on the outskirts, maybe like a fallen piece of pillar that got completely kablooied away from where it originally was. He picks his mark in that giant milk snake, and he does the whole Horaloo, throws his halberd with the force of like a hurricane, and then like flies in after it, straight at this milk snake.
The milk snake rears up and is getting ready to lash out, and it does not expect this, as the green snakes largely sort of, they're not really well equipped for fighting like this. They can, but they hunt insects, and mice are tough enough to attack, let alone weasels and hedgehogs. And the shock troopers, your men are all armored. Almost every single one of them. The weasels are less armored, but bigger. So all the serpents can kind of do is just throw themselves in your way and thrash and try to distract you as the milk snake rears up. But you can just blow past them. You're not even hurting them. You're stepping through the mess. They don't really slow you. And the milk snake is caught completely flat-footed as you throw your blade. And you just see the silhouette of a serpent against a flash of lightning and a spear punching through it, and it just crumples onto the ground dead as the green serpents all shriek and just sprint into the grass. Now that their commander is gone.
Hell yeah.
Both you two make
felt
me a
bad.
will roll.
Oh no. Ah! Oh no. Oh no.
Don't forget to be charting your failures on those
Oh,
rolls,
thank
folks.
you.
Okay, so that is that versus. Okay. So, Dukan, you can feel your troops begin to slowly slow down, and you begin to slow down. And also, hello there.
Thank
nice,
you,
nice.
Vaughn.
Bon being sweet. So you feel yourselves begin to slow down and lag, and time begins to dilate as you find yourself getting very heavy. And then, as your eyes begin to close, you hear this shout, and it's just, "Soldiers of the Mouse God, your matriarch calls you! Rise!" And it penetrates through the fog, and you just immediately, awaken. And from behind, you can see, with a quick, actually make a quick scout roll, both of you two, because you're not fully awake. Nice. Okay. Santa, you don't need to burn any experience on it. If you want to, you can just take this one. It's not that big a deal. You're busy shaking it off and helping your troops and the mice around you, who are all kind of panicking, but not like they're not. Your troops aren't collapsed. They're just kind of like, "What the fuck was that?" After everything, they're having a brief panic moment of, "Wow, were those mice who were just running at us? And why did we all nearly fall asleep? And what's going on? Were those snakes?" Jukan, you at the front, however, in that flash of lightning, as you begin to flag, you sort of look back, and from your angle and your height, you can see over the tortoise, sort of threading the towers, and in the back, on the top of Gwendolyn's tortoise, you see a single mouse figure in a bright firebug orange cloak glowing in the night, standing in the wind that's beginning to slowly carry rain, bright as a torch. And that's where the voice came from. A small gray mouse with blazing orange eyes, whose voice should not carry that far.
Do I recognize this man?
It's Cedric,
It's
wearing a
Cedric?
totally different cloak. Cedric's wearing an orange cloak, the cloak you saw him carrying.
Oh.
It's
Something's
a good
very,
thing
very weird
Sayana
about him,
didn't
but
see.
the voice he spoke in wasn't his own. It didn't even have his accent, but it is clearly him.
Possessed by the spirit of mouse kind.
He has plus XX, where X is the number of mice in play.
Yeah, so
rat-
Isn't that-
Revenge.
atop this heap of the snake that I have just slain, my foot on it, I look to the hedgehogs and the weasel behind me, and I there's like this probably a close-up zoom of Dukan's brow furrowing, and he just screams with all his might, "Onward!"
All right. You two managed to weather the first attack. The next attack, when you go down the mountain, as the tortoises stomp over the remains of the milk snake, shattering it, and you can see other attacks like this have happened all along the column. And they are answered with bows and spears and shouts, and occasionally the sound of fire pikes blazing and fire spears blazing into the forest. None of them land.
Oh.
It is a desperate strike, one to distract. They were probably hoping that attack earlier in your dreams would be more successful. As you come barreling down, you get to the bottom where you two were just a few days ago. Or just a day ago at this point. Less than a day. Less than a couple of hours, actually. And at the bottom, you can see the ruins where you approached have been fortified. It appears as though the mice have been press-ganged into service, and on the front, you can see dozens of mice, all with spears and bows and wearing cheap leather armor, and behind them, serpents rearing up and hissing, some splattering venom on the stones from behind them, basically forcing them into the first line of defense. And around what's left of the stonework, you can see armored serpents slithering about, waiting for the attack.
Do con whiffs a will roll?
Okay. So, Tucan,
Kill them
You're-
all.
Giotto just kind of looks at you. Aye. Kill them all! And he holds his fist up and holds his fire pike, and the other hedgems nearby. Kill them all! And like you can hear like the scream, the shout pass through the front ranks of the expedition as Weasel and Hedgem and many mice take it up. Zukan and Sienna, both of you two, make me either lore mouse or nature rolls.
Definitely gonna have to take it.
You have lore weasel.
I have 0 in Lore Weasel.
You should have 1 in lore
Ah.
weasel now.
So I can combine them?
Yeah. Yes.
Or...
Oh no, you can only use the 1.
Okay, so I'm still gonna pick... There.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Tiana.
Okay. So, Dukan, you are too swept up. The fury flows through you, and you feel the compulsion to charge. Your attack, your method of attack this time, your action will be attack, along
Yep.
with the regiment. Yep. However, Sienna, as you see this front of the column all roaring with rage, you can sort of see like a glint of red in their eyes. And like a little trickle of red coming from some of the mice ahead of you as they take up the cry to attack. And they are, all of them, clearly affected somehow. It is up to you what you do with that knowledge, but you're aware that your troops have been psychologically compromised somehow, possibly magically. It appears as though if it's not like they're under someone's control, but rather that they're consumed by this impulse for revenge. Which normally wouldn't be a bad thing in the middle of a fight, but this is a tactical warfare exercise, and throwing yourself headlong into enemies' guns isn't always the best decision.
Can I make a persuader roll? Oh. Can I make a persuader roll to try and calm them, like level them out a bit? My troops, at least. I don't know how far my voice will carry.
Okay. Let's see. So that would be for you, I suppose, Persuader? Or what would you like to use for that role? I'm going to be flexible here.
Honestly, maybe just a nature roll again. Appeal to their mousy nature. Just like, we aren't like this. We will have our vengeance, but we will do it right.
Okay. All right then. Yeah. Make the roll. Make me a mouse nature roll. I see it. Okay. No.
Might
It's good.
add a die if it'll help.
No, you succeed. You're good.
Okay.
It's a success rate of 1. You succeeded, even with the 1. So, as you sort of appeal to your fellow mice's nature, you can see like their bloodshot eyes slowly clear a little bit. Yes, ma'am. Of course. In good order, men. And you can see them kind of like swatting each other. Like it's like a camaraderie thing. They're not like literally slapping each other, but it's kind of like a pat, and they kind of like pat down the line. You can see them all like sort of ranking back up again, getting ready for the proper fight. Your choice to attack or defend, maneuver, feint, whatever you'd like. Your opponent is defending, clearly.
Can we maneuver to try and help up any other mice that might run up? Like, help them throw off their fiery satchel and just get on top of the tortoise?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. So that's a versus maneuver. Okay, so you're gonna be rolling against them, whereas Derek, you're attacking a defending force, and you are also it's versus for both of you two actually. So that works out pretty well. So I'm gonna have you guys. You're gonna have to either make me for this one either hunter or in this case, I suppose that'd be warfare. But neither of you two have that. So if you have snake wise, I will let you use thunderstorm or rocky terrain wise, as the rain is picking up as you're going down the hill. Okay. All right. So right now, that is currently a. We'll see how bad the enemy rolls before I tell you what it is.
I
Because
think
if
I
they roll
might.
really ass, you might do better than them. And I know you
Yeah.
guys are trying to save your resources, so.
I don't know if you saw.
Oh
earlier,
yeah,
but
no. Against you, Sienna, you're good.
Phew. They're not trying to hurt us at this point.
Clearly not. In no small part because Jesus, Dukan. So as Dukan, what are you doing specifically? What are you doing?
will you describe to me their fortification? You don't have to get like in the nitty gritty. Just like generalized. Like how are they set up?
I'll show you. In fact, actually, I can show you exactly what their fortifications look like,
Aw.
because their fortifications are literally the entrance to Serpents Run, or what's left of it. This
You're
same
not-
image you saw.
You're not attacking the mice, are you?
You can't.
You're
say
not
it all.
attacking. What?
I failed the will roll, buddy.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So you can see these columns. Many of them have been shattered in the back, and their stonework has been carried to the front, be laid down flat, almost providing like waist-high cover. In some cases, higher, where you can see there's like poking through holes. But you're a weasel. You tower over these. You're not quite as tall as the arches, but you're taller than most of these fortifications made of the stone. And as far as the serpents go, you're certainly taller than the green snakes. You are not as tall as a milk snake, but that's a more even fight for you.
I think that probably what like the action sequence that we see is like charging through the line of chaff which serve as the mice, not trying to kill them particularly, but inevitably like I'm a fucking to them. So the first line definitely gets like shattered by our just overwhelming map. The Hedgems, like I imagine they probably have some kind of shields with which to balance their fire lances on, or am I off?
You're not wrong. If you remember that scene from Battle of the Five Armies, where the dwarves run up when they put their shields down, then another dwarf puts their shield down, it's sort of like that. They have these spiked shields, like Urukai shields, but they run forward, drive them into the ground, and then lean their fire pikes on top to fire them. And you would see like a line of 10 of these Hedgems all run forward, led by Jado, plant their shields, point their fire pikes forward, and 10 of them go off at once, and the first like 2 columns of stonework for protecting the mice and the serpents beyond just detonate in columns of smoke. You hear a couple of screams and see some mousy bodies go flying. But yeah, no, Jado and his men just immediately fire, pick them up, and sprint in, and you remember that this is a tube of fucking iron the size of a baseball bat to a hedgehog. So it's a weapon. It's a cudgel, often bladed. And they wade in after you.
Yeah, Dukan is inevitably killing whatever gets close. I think we probably get like a true understanding of why it is that they wanted him for this expeditionary force. But he is primarily prioritizing officers, the milk.
The officers are all milk snakes clad in metal. And you get you and a couple of the other Hedgems charge forward. And I'm going to say for this first line, the mice are utterly broken. Like that you literally shattered through their front lines. And that was like 20, 30 mice in loose formation, like skirmishers behind fortifications. And you demolished the fortifications and battered them aside. A couple of them get spears up in time to catch pipes or fire pikes or blades or the butts of weapons to the heads, sends them flying. And yeah, you're not trying to hurt them, but also there are definitely some casualties for sure. By the time you get through, the green snakes, all seeing you come, they just part and flee. And as one of the milk snakes hisses in frustration, lashes out, and even manages to bite one of the green snakes and kill it, you run up to that one and just chop and begin to hack into it, and the thing dies screaming as you and 5 other Hedgems just run up, begin to beat the shit out of this thing until it stops moving, and all you hear is crunching. Sienna, on the other hand, your tortoise and your crew managed to get to the front line, and you see a number of these, more of these, mouse sappers come running. And how do you reach out to them? How are you trying to stop them? Because you did succeed, so tell me how you do.
I just yell at them, throw down your satchels and join us. We will protect you.
And the mice, all of them, sunken-eyed and terrified, some openly, crying, others you can't tell if it's just the rain or the mud or the gore that they're wading through to get to you. But, a number of them just look at each other and look at you, and, all at once, all, 20 of them just drop their packs and begin sprinting for you. And you guys manage to get about 17 of them before a milk snake from behind them lashes out with its tail, and you hear 3 cracks, and the 3 mice go into the mud, and they don't sit up. So, the front line is broken. And in the distance, you hear this loud, high-pitched shriek that literally makes your bones itch as it cuts through the ground. And in the distance, you see what is the single biggest serpent you've ever seen. The dream, if anything, did not do the vicar's service. I cannot claim that art is mine. It is not Keka name. That's you. So this thing is colossal and horrifying. This weird, localized viper rises out of the ground, and you can see almost to 6 foot tall as it towers over the stonework and shrieks its rage at you. And you see milk snakes and other vipers and cottonmouths come spiraling out from the ruins towards you. This is your final battle. And as it does, make me another will roll.
Yep. Well, that's a 5. I don't know if that's
That's a success. So let's see. Okay. So that's pretty good. And then we'll see what it's got. Ooh. Okay, that's 2. Okay, that's 1. So, you can see this thing rear up, and as it shrieks and its voice rises higher and higher, and it begins to become more and more like white noise. And Sienna, you squint your eyes and clutch your ears, and then you stand up, and you resist it completely by yourself. You don't need assistance. Dukan, rage is a hell of an anesthetic, and it helps you push through some terrible shit. And you are steeped in blood and pissed off. And so when this thing shrieks and the world begins to turn to white and your vision begins to fog, At first, it seems like you're going to fall to it, and then, again from the back, you hear a little weaker this time, "Mice! Onward! We're nearly there!" And you can see in the distance through the fog on the back of a tortoise, this mouse figure in this cape that glows even through the fog with searing orange eyes looks at you and points at you. And you just hear in your head, "You're not done yet." And it speaks in Cedric's voice. But whatever it is not Cedric. You resist it, and you sort of blink, and the fog clears. He is getting weaker, though, and you can tell. So you both succeed on that roll. What are your attack actions? It is your choice how you guys want to engage with this giant serpent. This is the final battle. This is your final test. It is massive. I'm going to tell you right now, this thing currently, if I can go by this basic stat line, this thing has a nature of 8 base before it factors in its natural weapons. So be aware of that.
I want to feint to attack. Like, feint an attack to distract it while
Okay.
Dukan does his rage thing.
She knows me
All right.
so well, guys.
Okay.
I'll,
So-
like, signal to him, like, we'll pretend, but you actually attack.
Okay. So, you have a significant number of archers, and also, at this point, the Invicta is well and truly in the thick of it. Nearby, you can actually hear a shriek as one of the snakes gets caught in one of its leg assemblies, and you just hear multiple cracks as it breaks in multiple places and falls to the ground dead. And Preston on the back is roaring and sees you. You kind of do the whole, like, get around him, and he's kind of like takes a moment and just nods, and he begins to rap orders. So you're taking the feint action, and the Invicta is backing. So Derek, Dukan, what are you doing?
I might have passed the roll, but I'd be lying to you if I said that it made sense thematically, mechanically, or otherwise for me to do anything else than fight and surprise.
Okay, that is very fair. So the final battle falls to a dice off because the great serpent, for all its fury, is on its back foot and it knows it. So it is defending, which means, Sienna, you're going to be making yourself a roll, and it'll be either hunter or military. You can use serpent-wise, either rocky terrain-wise or thunderstorm-wise. Either one works to help you with this attack. Derek, hunter, serpent-wise.
Okay.
These will be separate rolls. So let me know when you make them. I see. Okay, nice.
I'm gonna explode that die to be safe.
And
Okay.
explode mine as well.
It's 1, 2. It's 1 success.
Keeps going. Keeps
Okay.
going.
Jesus.
I'm gonna spend a percent.
2, 3, 4,
I'm not gonna spend.
10, 11, 12, 13 on Dukan. And for Sienna, that's 1. That's 1 plus also the Invicta backing you up.
Maybe I should do a persona as well to be safe.
1, 2,
Your call.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Yep, 13 successes on your
11
part.
successes because I got 2
11.
ones.
That is true, yes. So, Sienna, subtracting that. And Cedric is going to see if he can. Yes.
Cedric.
So, that is Preston, actually, I should say.
Preston.
That's my boy, Preston.
So, I'm going to take some liberties with the formations of your troops, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
So, Sienna, your feint, you realize the smart move would be to draw the snake's attention elsewhere. So in doing so, you direct your tortoise, Garrow, and all the troops on its back, along with the Invicta, to sort of flank around the side through the brush of the of Serpent's Run, which is, by the way, overgrown and filled with snakes. So this is dangerous. As you're going, you literally have mice like stabbing off the side to keep serpents away. Many of them are green serpents; they're just fleeing. But there's the occasional milk serpent, which is definitely pissed off that it's been invaded. You even see one of them spang off of Garo's armor because you did plate him on the front. And like one of them tries to get its fangs around, tears one of the armor plates free before Garo just sort of chomps at it and it just runs away screaming. And as you do, you can see the Invicta turn and fire its fire pike. And this one isn't like the one you guys heard earlier. That one was an almighty boom. This one is 3 rapid bangs, one after the other, as the Invicta's cannon is a 3-stacked cannon and fires all 3 of the rounds simultaneously, like a massive grape shot. And you can see it tears up the ground over by where the Serpent King, the Vicar, is, who immediately hisses and screams at you, blood spilling from it as you've torn up the ground and chunks of stone are in its serpentine abdomen. Derek, on the other hand, oh boy, let's see. Let's see how much this all does for you guys. He rolls a very big dice pool. However, he does, but they do not serve him well today.
Oh, thank fuck.
So it takes both of those down. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So Dukan, as Sienna and her troops are distracting the Great Beast, you manage to punch through its milk snake bodyguards, and you and the Hedgems, many of them reloading as they're sprinting, reach the serpent. And tell me, my friends, how do you end this?
So, I think we see the big serpent, if I may be so bold. We see the big serpent like hissing to his underlings to form, as best of a phalanx as they can against our assault. And the Hedgems, we bleed together. We punch through sheer force of will alone. This like mass of tangled milk snakes falling to shot and blade until finally, probably probably more of the Hedgems still fall to this great creature. Maybe even one of the weasels, actually. I think one of the weasels probably definitely just like a full ass body full of venom and like falls at our feet. All of us fighting to what we can only assume to be the bitter end, and we get this like close-up scene of Giotto and Dukan fighting at one another's back, and Dukan under his breath saying something like,
"This is not the end."
And as you do, and you summon one last burst of strength, you leap up as Giotto grabs you and throws you, fires underhanded with his fire pike, which sort of blasts him off the top of the plinth that he was on. And you can see the shot fly up, tear a pretty good chunk out of the snake's, like, right underneath the snake's, like, neck area.
Shot,
like,
right?
it's all neck. Yeah. And you leap up and jab your blade in, and the creature hisses and screams. And like a tree trunk that's been cut, the whole thing just... And you can see stonework shatter beneath it as the thing lands on the ground, gasping.
Does he
As
have
it's
any
true-
final words before I deliver?
He does, actually. As he falls to the ground, gasping for breath as you've nicked a major artery, and it's currently spilling into his throat. The snake turns one of its mighty eyes to look at you and furrows its brow. I'll see you when you sleep, warrior. And its eye slowly closes. And you hear this long death rattle as the thing shudders and falls dead. And so ends the battle of Serpent Run.
Well, I'm kind of glad I didn't get the final blow.
Holy shit.
So,
Very well done.
thank you. I think this is where we will end the session for today. I'm just going to assume that both of you two had your goals strategically linked to fucking kill the Vicar or overthrow the Serpent Kingdom. So if that's the case, you both get a point of persona each.
Yay.
Mine would have been to rescue as many mice as I could, which I think I definitely accomplished that.
I would say so. Absolutely. On top of that, I would say both of you two did excellently. Not gonna lie, Natalie, you succeeding on that role, MVP, 100%. You deserve it. You literally saved the matriarch of the Mouse Guard from imminent death. Take that persona point or fate point, your choice. Well earned.
Appreciate it.
Derek, embodiment. Do we really need to describe why you were in your character the whole time? You were in your character the whole time, and you owned it, and you had a pretty awesome set of moments.
So
Fate or
I didn't
persona,
hear
your choice.
that. Yeah, dude.
Okay. You earned the embodiment award. You were in your character the whole time. Persona fate point. You deserved it, buddy. I gave Natalie MVP for obvious reasons, literally saving the matriarch of the Mouse Guard with a pivotal role. Like, I cannot think of a more MVP earning thing. And with that, I turn the reins back over to you as we will cover what happens in the aftermath in the next session, maybe even in the new year.
Good, buddy. Thank you. Thank you for running such a phenomenal session, dude. This was an absolute blast. I know I had a lot of fun, Natalie. I hope you had a lot of fun as well, because that was
Definitely.
some crazy shit there. I didn't expect us to actually like finish it out tonight. This is really cool, man.
This was the first of the Beast Kingdoms.
Yep.
They only get harder.
Oh, I can only assume.
Actual campaign.
But like, you literally gave me the moment that I built my character to have, and that felt utterly fantastic. I'm gonna have a hard time going to sleep after this.
Little victories. Little victories.
Yeah, holy shit, that was fucking phenomenal. I hope you guys in chat enjoyed it. Let's go straight into our shout outs. Natalie, where can people find you?
I'll be on Red's channel tomorrow, Redemption VA, or is it VA Redemption? Redemption VA.
It's on Twitch. It's Redemption VA.
Okay. Yes, on that channel tomorrow, playing the finale of Call of Cthulhu, so that should be fun. And Saturday, I'll be back on this channel for Covet Syndicate. Warfare time is upon us, so we're gonna stomp some people.
Probably the last session of Covet for the year.
And that'll probably be it for a while, because we'll probably be taking time off for Christmas, and maybe we'll do something for New Year's, but I'll let you figure that out.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We did one last year. It was a lot of fun. We might do one this year.
Yeah, like that. No.
JJ!
JJ.
A wild JJ appears.
Yeah, well, that's about it for me.
Awesome. Well, love you. Thank you for being here. Omni, what's happening, dude?
Oh boy! Besides running an incredibly fun session of Mouse Guard that I'm really pleased with how it went off. I'm on top of the world. So I'm going to take this moment because it has been. I announced it on my channel, but I'm going to announce it here for all of you folks out there as well. Just so you guys know, I am no longer going to be under any threat of homelessness for a full year. Good news, Vaughn and I not only did we reach our goal because of an incredibly generous number of supporters, including all of you who shared and liked and spread the word, even if you didn't give money. Thank you. You saved our lives literally. Guess what? We just got approved for the lease. We just signed it and put it in yesterday. We're in the house this Friday.
Fuck
So we are
yeah!
good to go.
That is so hype. Holy shit.
Yes. So thank you guys so much. For those of you who didn't know, there was some question about that for a while, but seriously, thank all of you guys. It's the best Christmas gift me or Bon could have ever asked for. You have delivered us safely into another year. And so as a result, what I'm working on currently is the Legacy TTRPG beta test pack. I was originally going to just confine it to the players of the game that'll be on this channel. Around, I believe it's 12:30 on Saturdays, sometime in the new year when we get there. But because you've all been so amazing, I'm opening the beta to everybody. You guys will all gain access to the link as soon as I'm done with it. It'll be a couple of weeks. I have a lot to catch up on, and I haven't been able to work very much when we've been panicking, trying not to get homeless. But once I'm done with that bad boy, I'm going to start sending it out to every one of you. Play with it, have fun with it, enjoy. I'll have all the tools for making characters and all the tools for running adventures. Just let me know what you guys think of it. Please let me know. That's all I ask. And when we run the actual game and release it, we will take down the file at that point. It is a Google Drive, so I'll just change the privacy. And at that point, I ask you buy the damn book if you would like it. That's all.
I want to buy like 5 of them.
But yes, other than that, you guys can catch me on my channel, twitch.tv/thelastdomnitect. I'll be running Legacy on there. I'm also going to be running a Spelljammer D&D 5th Ed campaign with our friend Derek of DMDM Studios in that as well, along with a couple other people, including my fiance Bon, a couple of other people. And I'll be running Legacy's second run on my channel. So keep an eye out. That's all coming in the new year. But that's me. Thank you guys all so much. You're amazing. I love playing with you guys. I love being here with you guys. You're an amazing community. Thank you all.
Oh, love you, man. Thank you. Thank you for fucking sharing your time with us, sharing your creative, like, everything, sharing your soul with us, man. I really appreciate it. I love you. You're one of the best people that I ever could have come to meet, and I'm so glad that we are friends.
Dude, always. Always and forever. You guys rock. Family.
100%. VinDiesel.mp4. Well, thank you guys for being here. I certainly do appreciate it. Sit tight. We're going to be raiding as soon as I find somebody for us to raid into. I should have been pulling that up the whole time, but I was paying attention to what people were saying. If you liked what you saw, you can find us more on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Actually, hold that thought. Tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time at twitch.tv/redemptionva, you can find us live with the finale of Call of Cthulhu Under the Jade Sky. We are going to be getting crazy. We are going to be going loco. Tune in for that end of a Call of Cthulhu campaign that you wait the whole time to see, because I promise you it is going to deliver. Now on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, you can find us live with the finale of Blood War, hosted by Ampersand D20. He is going to be in that Atanria campaign that Ami was speaking of, which is super fucking hype. I'm very excited to get to play alongside him. He's ran D&D for me for 2 campaigns, one of which we didn't get to finish, but we're finishing the other one on Saturday, so that's incredibly exciting. How often do you get to see a finished campaign? And then at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, as Natalie mentioned, we are going to be doing Covet Syndicate Warfare. It is a bit different from what you might be expecting to see in an MCDM Warfare, because we have done the regular MCDM Warfare twice at this point. And though we might not all be experts at it, it is going to be a blast, I promise you that. And at the very least, it's going to be interesting. It's dynamic warfare. If you like tactical warfare, I hate using the same word over and over again. If you like tactical warfare, it's going to be the place to be. On Sunday, we have a Witcher one-shot. It is going to be hosted by the boy, Lost Haven Art. That's at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. don't miss it. It's going to be a blast, featuring some of your favorite people. We have Sean of Dungeons for Delves, and some wonderful other people. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to leave anybody out. I remembered that Sean is on it because Sean was on the last Christmas one shot, and Sean's fucking awesome people. He does a lot of charity work. So, Monday, Death Roll, probably the last Death Roll for this year. And then on Wednesday, probably the last Death Watch for the year. But don't miss any of it, folks. It's gonna be a blast. We're getting into some shit. We're finally gonna be making landfall on that mission on Death Watch. Natalie, you dropped the Let the Galaxy Burn in the first session. Don't look at me like you don't know what you did.
Oh, please. Like, that wasn't the coolest shit ever, and one of the best ways to start the campaign. What better way to start off a Space Marine campaign than our own little slice of the Horus Heresy?
Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not mad at it at all. It was quite wonderful, and it let me just go fucking nuts with it, and that was pretty cool. And then we get to see the actual first part of the mission before I inevitably leave you on a cliffhanger, because I promise you it's probably gonna happen. But with that being said, thank you guys for being here. I love you. I appreciate you. We're raiding into Ocarina Sheaf. You can catch us next time tomorrow on Red's channel, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, twitch.tv/redemptionva. Good night, everybody.
Peace.